Hello, everyone. This is Bailey, and welcome back to this week's episode of Mocktail Minutes. Well,
Good morning.
that introduction was so weird.
I'm cracking up right now. That was funny. Anyways, good morning. It's
It's early.
early.
We usually don't record this early. We're doing it before we start our work day. So
It's early. It's a Monday. It's early.
it's 2 weeks before Christmas. So we're a little out of whack. We've been sick. Bear with us.
Yep. Here, guys. We're
Yes.
here. What are you drinking this morning?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. This morning I am drinking a Sound. It's a sparkling water with tea and botanicals, but it's the blueberry cinnamon hibiscus tea flavor.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm on my super coffee kick still. I'm having the pumpkin pie latte. Did you
Oh,
have
yeah.
this one a couple of
No, I don't think I've done the pumpkin one.
the pumpkin's pretty good, and I'm not a huge pumpkin fan, so I feel like that's saying a lot.
Yeah. I'll have to try that one. I'll see if my store has it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this week we are talking about your holiday hacks because I don't know about
That's a
you
good
guys,
idea.
but I have my first Christmas party on the 15th. So,
Yeah, this week.
so yeah.
Hopefully we catch you guys before all your Christmas parties because you probably have multiple. I do.
Yeah. I started on the 15th, and then, yeah, I have like five more after that. But I love it. It's fun. So, we're going to talk to you about your holiday hacks to get you through the holiday, whether you're working on weight loss or just being healthier and feeling good in general. These are our top 10 hacks to
Yeah.
get through it without a holiday hangover because no one wants that.
Yeah, exactly. Ways to navigate the holiday that feels good.
So, starting with number one, this one is my favorite one, but fiber and protein first. Like going into your holiday, whether you do it before you even leave your house, like maybe you're going to an event that's like holiday dessert vibes, then just eat it at your house. It's not a weird thing, it's just deciding how you want to feel. We say this all the time because I feel like a lot of things can kind of get misconstrued and be like, oh, that's dieting behavior. I'm like, it's not dieting behavior, it's feeling good behavior.
Yeah, well, because it's all how you think about it. So if you are someone who used to eat a meal before you went to a party because you weren't allowed to have any of the food and that like wasn't on your plan and you were tracking everything, that okay, that is diety. But if you're like, okay, I'm going to this party later, it's probably just going to be drinks and desserts. You know that having a full meal of just drinks and desserts isn't going to make you feel great. So having a game plan before that, that's not diety because on the other end of the spectrum, you also can't just go. You can if you want to, but you can't just go and make a full meal out of desserts and be like, I feel great. Like it's when it comes to being diety, it's all about your mindset and like why you're doing something.
Yeah, the intention behind it, which we talked about a
Right.
lot in that one episode about eating with intention. But yeah, I would say that's a good point. If you think it's dieting, maybe evaluate like what are your intentions behind it? Is it actually being helpful, or is it something that like you're trying to avoid that maybe you may not necessarily need to? So thinking about
Hmm.
it in that type of way. So yeah, you could either eat before, because if I go to a party and it's like desserts and drinks, like it's very hard to stop eating because, I mean,
Oh yeah.
biologically, carbs don't shut down your hunger hormones as easily as protein does. So if we're eating, I don't know, like all these dips and chips, and it's not dessert, but it's still a carbohydrate base. And then like
Yeah.
we have cookies and then like cake balls and all these different desserts. Yeah, it's going to be a lot harder to stop eating. And then it's like that 30 minutes later where we're like, okay, now I'm going to throw up type of feeling.
Right. Or we have like that crash. So just think about like, kind of how we talked about in that eating with intention episode. Like, why do we eat, right? We eat because we need to be nourished. We need to have energy. We need to feel full. We need to give our body what it needs. It's really hard to do that just on like holiday desserts. And also you can still have those things, but going into it eating fiber and protein first is always going to set you up. And then maybe they have those options there, right? So go there first.
Mhm. even at your holiday meal, like scope out what are the vegetables available, what are the protein options available. And then as far as like appetizers, I think these are a good place to start because I mean, personally, if most of my holiday parties were bringing like a side dish or an appetizer type thing, so then
Yeah.
I always think about, all right, since I'm wanting protein and fiber first, how can I bring protein and fiber? Because not everyone does that. So then I'm putting that responsibility on myself to be like, okay, I know if I have this, this is going to make me feel a lot better throughout the night. So then I'll do things like deviled eggs. You could do a veggie tray with a dip, even if you did like the cottage cheese and ranch seasoning dip. That's perfect. Trail mix is a good one. Like throw in some different nuts and some like freeze dried apples or something like mix it up however you want to do your trail mix. Get some healthy fats in there, get some protein. You'll get a little fiber too. You could do like buffalo chicken dip, bring some veggies to dip with it, or some. The Simple Mills crackers are my favorite right now, so those would be perfect to go with it. And then like the charcuterie boards that are super popular right now, those are fantastic because
Oh
you
yeah.
got your protein from your different types of meat. I love the prosciutto on it. And then you have your cheese options. You can throw on vegetables. You can throw on fruits. You can really put whatever you want on them. And
Those are great.
yeah,
You could put all kinds of like stuff on that.
yes.
And they're festive.
Yeah, and they're so cute. My boyfriend's cousin, she works for a company and puts together charcuterie boards and like grazing tables and everything. They always just look so good.
Yeah. So go into your holiday party with that game plan. Still allow yourself to have foods that you enjoy, but you're going to be able to do it in a much more controlled way and in a way that just feels good, whether you're trying to lose weight or not.
Yeah,
Let's
they're like
see.
go-to appetizers that you do.
I like doing dips because they're really, like you said, they're really easy to add like protein to. I always think of like the veggie sides because I feel like everybody forgets the veggies. Or if it's a veggie, it's like a starchy one, like the potatoes and like stuff like that, which is fine. But I always try to do something with like carrots, something with Brussels sprouts. And I've gotten real creative because
Mhm.
my family hates vegetables, like my extended family. I will say, like, so I've gotten real creative over the years, being like, hey, this is good, but it tastes good. So,
I think
yeah.
Brussels are a good option because I feel like I used to not really know how to cook them. Like you got those steamable bags, and I tried them. I was like, this is disgusting. But like if
Yeah.
you flavor them up or roast them, they taste a lot better. So it could expose other people to different vegetables
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
I either roast them with some like balsamic vinegar, which is always
Yes.
a good go-to, or you can make like a Parmesan type squished Parmesan crispy
Mhm.
ones. Those are always good. But yeah, if you've tried Brussels sprouts and you just like steamed them
Cool.
they're going to taste horrible. They really do. They really do.
Mhm.
But
And
you
there's
can make
some,
them good.
yes, you can definitely make them good. And there's also some with pomegranate seeds. I think I've seen those
Hmm.
look really good.
I
I
have
need to
so
make some.
many saved. I have so many saved recipes on my Instagram of like different Brussels sprouts. And I'm like, ooh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna make this. I haven't done it yet. So when I do it, I'll share it with you guys.
Instagram is where my saved recipes go to die. Like they just never happen.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but I need to do it. And then when I do it, I need to record it so I could share it with you guys because I'm so bad about doing that. Like, my husband's always like, why didn't you like record this? I'm like, I don't know.
It actually is really hard to record a recipe, guys. Like it takes a lot
Yes.
of work, and I think it literally, I swear, it doubles the time as what it would take normally because like you have to get the good lighting, you want to get the good angles, you want to make it like look nice.
Yeah, you have to make it look nice. It takes so much more work than anyone's talking about. After starting to like record the what little recipes I've done, I have such a different view on influencers. Like, it's a full-time job. I
Yeah,
can't do it. Like I
recipe.
think about them setting up to like clean their house. I'm like, I know how much work that took. You had to like move your tripod.
Mhm.
It's a lot.
And then like you go to record it, and then you look at it, you're like, wow, my counter actually looks disgusting. And so like sometimes I'm like, it's fine, but sometimes I'm like, well, now I got to restart.
I did it. I did one the other day, and I was like, oh, my oven is so dirty. And I don't ever really look at it. I know, like disclaimer, I don't clean my oven. I need to. I
Eh,
know it's probably gross. But I was like, oh my gosh, like people can't know I live like this. How does it get so dirty? I'm so confused. But
I blame our oven on Josh because so when you cook a pizza, like a Jack's pizza, do you put it on a pan?
yeah,
He does not put it on a pan. So naturally, like
it just
stuff
like
falls
melts.
off of it
Hmm.
and it just goes to die at the bottom of the oven and just cakes on and burn. I'm
I feel
like
like it says just place on rack,
it
which
does.
is, but like, how do you take it out?
I don't know. That's a him thing. I'm like, either put it on a pan or clean up the oven afterwards. He's like, well, it's hot. And then I don't think about it and I don't forget and I forget. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, fair, but also you're driving me nuts with burnt pepperonis at the bottom of the oven.
Like melted cheese that's like smoking off later on
Yeah.
the next time you use it. Yeah, I feel you.
Yes. So yeah, recipe
Oh,
wheels are hard, but I try and just share things that I do.
I need to get
I
better
do
at
my
it.
best, guys.
I know it's hard. It's hard out here. Okay, fiber and protein first. Our next one is what do you enjoy? So I think we're thinking about this like decrease the amount of carbs for sweet. So, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, because this is my take on it. I feel like when we get in a situation where we're just like at a holiday event or a party, everything looks so amazing. It's so great. And we're just like, let's load it up. I want everything. But we actually kind of just like eat things that we don't really enjoy. Like, I know I've been guilty of this. I'm like, why am I getting all of this? I don't really love it when I could just be eating the things that I'm like, oh, I really enjoy eating this. So I think it's like a mindset thing.
I would say definitely a mindset thing. And I think it maybe like an overwhelming type thing because it's like it's a buffet style. We talked a little bit about this in our episode we did around Thanksgiving, but it is overwhelming when you have all these different options because there's just so many options. So I think
Hmm.
kind of going in before like just have your game plan. What foods do you really enjoy? What are you looking forward to? And then adjust as needed. Like if you don't really care about the potatoes because you have potatoes every week at home, great. And you're like, I'd rather have a piece of chocolate cake. Well, I think it's perfectly fine to decrease the starchy carbs for your actual meal and use that as your dessert. Again,
Hmm.
not a dieting thing, it's just a blood sugar balancing thing and it can be super helpful. Now, I don't recommend this at every single meal. Be like, oh, I'm gonna eat a brownie every night because I'm not gonna eat my potatoes. Like, no,
Right.
that's not what I'm saying at all. Because you still get benefits from your starchy carbs. You're gonna have more nutrients than your brownie. Like, that's obvious. I know that. But I think in certain situations, it's fine to decrease those starchy carbs from the regular meal because you already know you're gonna have dessert. Perfectly okay.
Yeah. I think it's a good game plan if you just think of it like in terms of like, what is this doing to my blood sugar? You know, because most of us are not going out and like doing much at our holiday parties. We're kind of like lingering around, we're like talking, we're hanging out. So, yeah, just think about, okay, like what starchy carbs am I eating? And then I think another thing that happens, and this might be why people kind of just load up their plate, is I think, and this could be a whole episode in itself, I think people really struggle with like talking to people about their plates. Like most people are like, oh, why aren't you getting that? Or try this, have more of this, or why don't you like that? Or you know what I mean? And I think people just feel pressured. And
Yeah.
so instead of them just being like, oh, I don't really enjoy that or I don't really want it, like they try to be nice and they just try to avoid conflicts. They're like, okay, like give it to me. And then we're kind of like mindlessly eating.
Mhm.
That's like a whole episode, I'm sure.
Yes. So just deciding like what do you really want? You can adjust your plate and I mean I've had comments said to me like, "Oh, you're being so good. You're the dietitian." I'm like, I mean, I'm just eating what I want.
That
And
always happens to us. I'm telling you, every time. This is why, like, sometimes, and it drives my husband crazy, I won't tell people what I do.
oh yeah, we talked about
Like, yeah, like, I won't. Like, why? Because I know as soon as I do it, they're going to be looking at my plate. They're going to be like, oh, well, why are you getting fries? Or, oh, are you getting that salad because, like, you're good? And I'm like, you know, and then it's like, oh, this is what I do to be healthy. And, like, I don't eat strawberries because they're so high in sugar. And it's like all this crazy stuff. Nope.
it's a
Like
lot.
we don't like those conversations. So we get it. But yeah.
We don't like to talk about our plates. When we're at a social gathering, like we're not paying attention to your plate. Just
No.
do what you need to do.
I pay more attention to like other things that people would never. Like I'm paying attention to weird things. It's all related to food. I don't know if I'm going to point them out because I don't want anyone to be like, "Oh my gosh, should I do that?" But I think we're more interested in the things you don't eat and how your attitude is around food. And I'm not saying like things you don't eat, like, "Oh my gosh, they didn't get all the desserts." I'm just saying like your attitude around food and like your mannerisms. We care more about that than if you were to like walk up and go get yourself a piece of cake.
Yeah, no, that is a really good point. I do pick up more around like what people are saying before a meal or like after a meal than what you're
Yeah.
actually eating at that time.
Or like if you're like, "Oh, I shouldn't be eating this," people that do that, I'm like, well, let's talk about
Why?
that. Let's talk. But I'm not going to do it. Don't worry. I won't do it.
Yeah, I
But in
want
my
to
mind,
get out my notes and get my dietitian hat on and
yeah, I'm
let's
like,
talk.
let's just talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
I won't.
So, next one is thinking your drinks. I think this is a really good one because holidays comes alcohol. We have a whole episode on alcohol, but overall, just being mindful about what drinks you're including because they can also make you not feel so great. They can also make your blood sugars go all out of whack. So, I mean, overall, just stay hydrated. Bring your
Yeah.
Yeti with you, drink that, but also have a fun drink if you want it.
Yeah. Stay hydrated. Think about a lot of the holiday drinks have a lot of sugary stuff in them because they're fun and they're festive. And if you can steer clear of those, great. But if you want to have one, I would say don't have those the whole night. Like have one and then maybe switch to something else that's not as sugary and is like a little bit of a better option because you're going to feel like crap the next day,
Mhm.
mostly because of all the sugar.
Yeah, all the sugar, and you're just eating different than you typically would, so lots of factors add up. So just doing what you can there.
Yeah.
The
What's the
next
next one?
one is no skipping meals. I don't think we really need to say a whole bunch about that because that's like what our entire episode was about previously.
Yeah.
So,
Go listen to it if you haven't. Go listen to it because if you're someone who's like, "Ooh, I'm saving up for the holiday party tonight," meh, go listen to that episode. That's it. I'm not going to go on a tangent because we'll be
yeah.
here for another 10 minutes. What's the next one? Number 5, satisfied, not feeling overstuffed. Like, don't overstuff yourself. So, I think this is a hard thing people struggle with, especially in a social setting, is we're a little bit like mindless with how we eat. And then all of a sudden we're like, "Oh, I'm really full." Like, I wasn't really paying attention to that. Or it's just how we think about the holidays. Like, it's so normal to be like, "Oh, I ate so much. Like, I'm stuffed." Like,
And
yeah.
it's like, who cares? I'm gonna restart in January. Like, we don't have to restart in January.
No, yeah.
You don't have to stuff yourself at every holiday event. Again, you're gonna feel so much better going home and not feeling like you have to like unbutton your pants and veg out because you can't breathe because you're so full. That type of feeling.
Yeah, like you just need to take a nap because, yeah, you can stop when you're full. Stop before. I would say stop when you're satisfied. It takes a little while for your body to register like, "Oh, I am very full." So if you eat until the full feeling, that's when you're going to feel like crap.
But what goes along with that is if you're doing your fiber and protein with your meal, that is going to help you get full, and also that
Hmm.
protein is shutting down those hunger hormones. And when your blood sugar is more balanced throughout the day and with your meals, you're going to be able to recognize your hunger and satiety cues a lot better, which is a huge reason why neither of us really require our people to calorie count or anything, because you just learn to work with your body.
Yeah, you're paying attention to those cues, and you can because your blood sugar isn't crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to call it eating like a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people don't understand what that means.
Yes.
So,
You can eat like a normal person and life will be great. Next one, I mean, we kind of already touched on because we combined it with the other one, but water, just staying hydrated. It's going to be super important. Just always have your security blanket water bottle with you. In general, about half your body weight in ounces is kind of a good rule of thumb to aim for. Now, if you are working on weight loss, you can use more of like an ideal weight or like a weight that you know you've been at before and felt comfortable. You can use that weight instead.
Yeah, like if you're like, oh, I have like 50 pounds to lose. For some people, that's like, oh, I'm drinking a gallon of water a day. I don't think that's necessary. You can use your ideal body weight, or if you're someone who just does require more water, definitely adding minerals to it so that you're properly hydrated. We're gonna have a whole episode on that, but
Yes, with our
I'll
mineral
leave it there.
expert.
Yes, but I'll leave that there because she does such a good job at explaining why your cells need certain minerals to be properly hydrated. And I will just say, if you're someone who's like, gosh, I keep hearing about this, just try it because you will notice a difference.
Oh yeah, definitely.
100%. Yeah, there's that one. Number 7 is physical activity with your family. I like this one because you're still able to like spend family time together. You're still doing stuff as a family. You know, if you go and you have like a holiday party, just taking a walk after or going outside and if there's kids there, playing a game outside, you're going to feel so much better because you're able to utilize all that glucose that you just ate
Hmm.
and you're going to feel better.
Yes, and I thought this one was important to bring up as well because so often when I have, especially moms that I'm working with, it feels like all these things that you're doing has to be like a mom thing, like meal prepping, going to the gym, like the stress management things. But I think it can be super helpful to include your kids because it's something that they will benefit from as well. I mean, even like the stress management, having your kid do some meditation with you doesn't hurt them, and
Yeah.
maybe it could really help them if they're a very anxious child or something. So including your kids with habits you're trying to instill, where it doesn't be like, oh, mom has to take a break from Christmas because I have to go downstairs and go work out. Like, include your kids. Maybe they want to work out with you. Maybe you do like a fun Zumba video with them instead. Or if it's snowing, go outside and go sledding. Like, walking up and down a hill, that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. And
And, like,
I'm always telling moms this too, because they are like, I struggle with movement and I feel like I have to just dedicate so much time to it on my own. And it's like, we have the potential to be doing so much more movement every day without taking just, you know, solo time for ourselves. Yeah. Getting outside and playing with your kids, I've said this before, if you have a trampoline, you should try it because that is rough. That is rough. Anyway, but like, kids usually get gifts for Christmas or usually have like some outside toys. Like if your weather is nice and you can go outside, like walk up and down the street, like hang out with them, play basketball with them, do something. It's going to feel good. And then everybody's going to feel good because we're getting out of the house and we're getting movement. Everybody needs movement. I think sometimes we think about this as like just an adult thing, but like kids need movement too.
hmm And I think,
So,
it was like 3 or 4 years ago here where we had like a Christmas that was 65 degrees outside, very rare for Missouri weather.
yeah.
And we set up like a huge volleyball net and everything. And my family, my mom's side, is very large. Like I have like 30 cousins. I don't even know how many anymore, but we have lots of us running around. So we were able to play just like volleyball with each other. We had T-balls out, we had jump ropes. And that was like the most fun Christmas. I mean, obviously we can't do that every year because it's, like I said, very rare to have a Christmas that warm. But
Yeah.
just doing things like that to with your family, and it can be a lot of fun.
I can even still remember being a kid and playing like capture the flag outside with all my cousins and my aunts and uncles during Christmas. Like those things are fun.
Yeah.
Well, maybe think about it. Maybe this will like encourage you to be like, oh, I want to make sure my kids have memories like that. Whatever it is. The next one is enjoy dessert.
So I think this one, what I was thinking about, like, as we put this list together, was just enjoy it. Like, don't make it a huge, mind boggling event where you're thinking about every single thing. Another thing I think with this is that we don't have to substitute everything, where I think substitutions can be great. Like the cottage cheese ranch dip. It's a great high protein thing, or like the cottage cheese cookie dough, or whatever we're doing with cottage cheese now. I think those can be,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I think those can be helpful to add the protein, but it doesn't mean every time you want to make a cookie dough, you have to use cottage cheese. Like, if you want to make a brownie, you don't have to do a black bean brownie. And they do taste really good, actually. It sounds super weird, but they taste good. But If you'd rather just have the regular brownie, just have it. If you want to do the black bean brownies because you truly enjoy them and you don't care either way, you want to add more nutrients, go for that. So enjoy it and realize that you don't have to substitute your entire life away.
And I think this is important because sometimes, and most of the time, I feel like we overdo things because we're like, we're not supposed to have it. And we've talked about this a ton of times, like the Last Supper type thing.
Yeah.
So if you go into a situation and you're like, you know what, there's going to be tons of dessert there. I'm definitely going to get dessert. Once you just prep your mind that way, it's easier to make different choices during your meal, prioritizing protein and fiber, and then you can just enjoy your dessert instead of having it be this thing that's taunting you all night. And you're probably going to enjoy it in a more, I don't know, like a more controlled satisfaction type way instead of like, let me just devour this before I stop myself from doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. And in your body, I think people think like, I know people think this way, like, oh my gosh, it's sugar. My body's not going to do anything with this. My body's going to know I ate cake instead of a salad. And it's like, your body just sees macro and micronutrients, to be honest. So if you needed some extra carbs, sugar in that meal, your body's going to use it from the cake, right? So it's not going to be like, oh, everything's shut down. This is cake. We're storing it all as fat. Like your body's
Work.
not doing that. It doesn't work like that. So if you can just kind of like take a breath, be like, I'm going to allow myself to enjoy this and I'm going to move on. Not a big deal. I think you'll find it much easier to just enjoy your dessert or not enjoy your dessert, but you won't be like taunted by this. My God, I shouldn't have had cake type thing.
And that kind of leads us to our next one. One of your biggest blood sugar balancing hacks is sleep. So making sure you continue to get your sleep 7 to 9 hours. Getting at least those 7 hours, you're going to feel a lot better. I mean, holidays, they get overwhelming. They are very exciting, but I mean, it's a lot more go, go, go than a lot of us are used to. So it's easy to get exhausted. It's easy to get crabby. Get your sleep. It'll help you not be so exhausted and crabby, obviously. But also, it's going to help with your blood sugar balance because one night of poor sleep is going to make you more insulin resistant just the next day. So, getting that sleep, allowing your body to rest, reset, and restore. And then that's also going to decrease your mindless eating that may happen.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And if you're someone who's ever played around with this, you'll start to know, wow, I'm a lot more snappy. I have a lot more cravings the day after I got a really bad night's sleep. And so if you're feeling more snacky, more cravings, and then you're around all these holiday parties, it's just going to be much harder to kind of do goal supportive things, especially, and it's not your willpower, it's literally your blood sugar. It's like a hormone issue. So sleep. I think everyone ignores this. I'm telling you, you guys, like
Sleep is good.
Sleep. Just sleep. Do we have an episode on sleep?
I was just thinking about that. I don't know. We'll have to check. If not, we definitely need to put it on for like January.
Yeah, because sleep is, people like brush that off. Like, I could sleep when I'm dead. No, you need sleep.
Oh, I used to.
Oh, yeah, me too. My sleep used to be horrible.
Yeah, I was like,
and I used to be one of those people that's like, I function way better on 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Like, that was,
yeah.
I really thought that. I'm like, no, that's because my body's really good at running off stress.
Yes.
Don't do that. Okay. And then our last one, I like this one. So it's one day, right? But don't treat it like a dumpster.
Yes.
Tell me exactly how you wanted to say that, because I know what you're trying to say, but I know you're going to say it better, and I'm really excited about this one.
So I actually made a reel about this because it's something I think about a lot because, I mean, I've told people too, I'm like, it's one day, I mean, just move on, it's fine. If it doesn't go perfectly, that's fine. But I was thinking about this more with just like the holidays coming up and a lot of conversations I have. Yes, it is one day. It's not going to make or break you. But I mean, like I mentioned, I have several holiday parties to go to. And if I went into every single holiday event or every single week and I was like, it's just one day. Who really cares? It's just one day. Those one days really add up. But beyond that, even if you do truly just have one day of celebrating whatever you're celebrating, and if you intentionally go in to treat it like a dumpster fire, like a cheat day, this is why I hate cheat days, then you are going to feel awful. You're probably not going to sleep well. You're going to wake up the next day and you're like, yeah, I really don't feel like cooking breakfast this morning because I slept terrible. So then it really trickles. So if you go into it with an intention of being like, this is how I'm going to take care of myself today, these three things. I'm going to make sure I drink water. I'm going to have a high protein breakfast. And I'm going to make sure I get my 7 hours of sleep. I don't care what three things it is. But I think overall, just like don't go in with the intention of I'm going to have a cheat day or I'm just going
Like
to,
everything's out the window.
yeah,
Like nothing
like,
matters today. Yeah.
yeah, don't treat your body like a dumpster for an entire day. I don't care when it is, but I think that is like one of the worst things you can do for yourself is do a cheat day.
Mhm. Well, and
Unpopular opinion.
I hate cheat days because it's like that mindset keeps you stuck in that dieting,
Yeah.
starting over. And we focus a whole week on this in Metabolism Makeover, like how to make room for fun, how to enjoy all these celebrations. Because you're right. If we think about it, it's like 50% of our lives. Like we have weekends, holiday events, birthdays, vacations. So if you're like being so quote unquote good for all the other times, but then you go into those times and you're like, everything's out the window. There's no plan. There's like no anything. I'm going to just do what I want because I'm finally just allowing myself to do stuff. That's why you're staying stuck. Is because 50% of the time you're super, super rigid. And the other 50% of the time you're like the dumpster fire, right? Like it's just a mess. You're kind of just staying stuck. And so like I do tell clients like we did for Thanksgiving, like it's one day. Don't be like panicking, right? Like if you do overeat or you do come out of it feeling like, you know what, I could have probably done a little bit better. Like it's not going to ruin all of your progress. It's just not. It's one day. But on the flip side, just going into it and not having to like, I could do whatever I want because it's one day. I mean, and you can, but it's like being stuck in that mindset is like really, it's tiring.
Yeah.
So
You
it's
guys
okay
get
to
what we're
still do
saying
things.
here.
Yeah. I feel like it's complicated, but I really like it. Like, I don't
So
know.
like
Well, and in
basically
reality, you should be
like
eating in a way that you could do it all the time. Is like I think what we're trying to say, you know, and
yes.
planning to have a shit show for lack of better words is
Yeah.
like setting yourself up for failure.
Yes. So let me give you
Yeah.
an example. Like Christmas could look like cinnamon rolls in the morning, cookies with lunch, and well, maybe you only have two cookies because you're having a big Christmas dinner. So then you're saving up. And then dinner, it's like mashed potatoes and sweet potato casserole. And what are Christmas foods? I just keep thinking like Thanksgiving food.
Me too. I don't know. Rolls.
Rolls.
Something's around unreality.
And like maybe we have roast beef. I don't know, we have roast beef at our Christmas
Yeah,
dinner.
that's a good Christmas thing.
Yeah. So I mean, it's protein and a lot of starchy carbs. Otherwise, we're having like protein and carbs and lots of sugar all day. So
Hmm.
it could look like that. And yeah, not terrible, but again, you're not going to feel great doing that. Or you could go into it and be like, okay, we're having cinnamon rolls Christmas morning. I'm also going to just throw together a protein shake real quick. Or make everyone in the family some eggs, scrambled eggs, super easy for everyone. Have some berries. Now we include our cinnamon rolls, plus we balanced it out with some protein and some fiber. So now we're going to stay fuller for longer. We're going to be happier people. Now going into lunch, sure, you can have a cookie, but let's also have, I don't know, a turkey sandwich or something with
Yeah,
it. Like,
something with substance. Yeah,
yeah,
substance. You know what I
substance, yeah,
mean? Yeah,
yeah.
you know that word.
Or like do like turkey roll ups, just something super quick and simple, and then enjoy your Christmas. So, dinner. So, like, basically, what we're saying is, again, just
Balance.
find the balance, be intentional, stop doing the cheat days. Stop
Mhm.
intentionally treating your body like a dumpster because you can have these foods whenever you want and you're going to feel better balancing them out throughout your life instead of shoving them all into one day because you're not sure when you're ever going to get them again.
And honestly, if you're listening to this and you haven't found that balance yet, I'm telling you it's coming because I used to be one of these people that's like holidays or whatever, like I'm not gonna have any what it's like mimosas all day and treats all day and like we're doing nothing and this feels good because like we're just letting our hair down and we're not doing anything. We're just enjoying our time. And now I can truly say I don't like doing things that way, not because I'm like, oh, I want to lose weight or oh this or oh that. It's like I just know that I'm not going to feel good. And I think it takes some time to get there. But if you're sitting here thinking, like, okay, that's not me, like what you guys are talking about still seems like a lot of work and I don't want to do it, trust the process because eventually you're going to get there. When you start making choices based off of how you want to feel, like it's a completely different ballgame. And you'll get there. It's okay if you're not there yet, but like starting to take these, like, just pay attention. Maybe you have a bunch of holiday parties. Maybe try applying what we're saying here to one of your holiday parties and see how you feel.
Yeah.
Just see how you feel.
Nothing bad's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah. We hope
we're not going to take away your fun.
Yes, we're not going to take
No.
away your fun or anything like that. But I hope these tips, I mean, they're all super simple. It's just the act of doing them. So try them out. Try a couple of them out. See how you feel with it. Let us know how it goes, of course.
Yeah.
But we hope you guys are having a great holiday season, and we're just here to help you out. So we're doing here.
And then, also we're heading into, next year. So we're putting together our episode game plan. So if there's something that you guys really want to hear us talk about or want to know more about, send us a DM so we can put it on our thing. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put up a question box too. I always say that and then I don't.
That's good. So look at our pages. We'll put up some boxes and everything. But yeah, stay tuned for some really great episodes. And our next one we'll have with our mocktail mineral guru.
You're going to love that episode. She's like a wealth of knowledge on the topic. So.
All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.